Hello everybody, I'm back and I've got some new instruments for us to explore today. We're going to be talking about percussion. Now percussion is any instrument that is played by striking or hitting it. So you think first of drums, but also things like maracas and shakers and rattles and tambourines. When you think of a maraca or a shaker, there are beads or rocks inside of something that hit against each other, and that's what makes the sound when you give it a shake. Drums and cymbals make the vibration when you hit them directly, and that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the most famous and popular percussion instruments is the drum set, and this is a collection. It can be elaborate or it can be simple, and it's a collection of drums and cymbals primarily. There can be other things attached to it like cowbells and tambourines, but drums and cymbals are the main thing. Let's talk first about the drums. Drums are made with skin of some kind. Now in the old days, these used to be animal skins, and even nowadays, you can get pretty fancy drums with authentic real animal skin on them. But for the most part, drums that you'll find on a drum set are made of plastic or synthetic skin. They are easier to make, they are longer lasting, and they don't go out of tune if the temperature gets hot or cold, or if it gets humid or dry. Now drums, when you play them by hitting them, they make different sounds based on what they are designed like. Little tiny drums will make a high sound, and big drums will make a low sound. So that big drum that you see on the floor is called the bass drum, and that's usually played with a pedal. So you can tap your foot and a little mallet will hit that drum on the floor. The smaller drums that are mounted on top of that, those are called toms. And they're basically called toms because that's the sound they make when you hit them. Tom, tom, tom. So if you hit the toms, you're making that head vibrate. Now there's a special kind of drum I want to talk about next called the snare drum. And snare drums were first used in marching bands and military bands because they have something that is just like a tom. They have a head on both sides, but on the bottom side, they have a little something extra that are called snares, which is why it's called a snare. Sometimes they're called strainers. And all these are twisted metal wires. They look like little springs, and they are snugged up against the bottom of the drum, as you can see here. Now those snares, when the drum is hit, they vibrate against that second head, and they make that raspy rat-tat-tat sound. That sound reminds you of a marching band or a military band or a parade. So let's start with the bass drum. All you need is a big bowl. Bigger's better. And some plastic wrap. So you're going to take the plastic wrap, going to stretch it over that big bowl. You're going to stretch it nice and tight. The tighter, the better. There's a saying that goes, tight as a drum. Well, this should be tight as a drum. When you've got it good and tight, which I've almost got it good and tight, loose is no good. No wrinkles. Then there is your bass drum. And now for your tom. We're going to do the same thing we did with the bass drum. We're going to take our plastic wrap. We're going to tear off a good piece of it and lay it across a smaller bowl. Make it nice and tight. And all of a sudden we have a tom drum. If we got it good and tight, it should make that characteristic tom-tom sound. Now, isn't that satisfying? And then we're going to use this little bowl to make a snare drum. Now, what's going to be different about the snares? We don't have those snares probably laying around the house. I mean, I don't, and I'm a music teacher. So to make that snare sound, we're going to, we're not going to use plastic wrap. We are going to use tin foil, aluminum wrap. Aluminum foil, just take a piece of aluminum foil. Again, you're going to wrap it nice and tightly around that smaller bowl. And then give it a little tap. And now we have it. We've got your bass drum. We've got your tom. We've got your snare drum. And you've got 3 sizes of cymbals. And you're ready to jam. And this is where I want to go next. I want to tell you the song that I made up about the greatest pencil in the world, the Dixon Ticonderoga. Now this pencil right here that I have, this is a special edition. It's a Dixon Ticonderoga black, which means it's all black, but normally they are yellow with a green metal part. This metal part's called a ferrule. And when I was a little kid, I remember seeing the Dixon Ticonderoga box, and it had a picture of a Revolutionary War soldier calling people to war, and I thought, wow, this is an extraordinary pencil. And indeed, they were my favorite pencils to write with growing up. Maybe you have a Dixon Ticonderoga in your house. Well, I made up this song about how awesome the Dixon Ticonderoga is, and I imagine that it was carried across the United States by the pioneers as they found new lands and climbed mountains and crossed streams and fought bears. So I wrote a song about that. So my challenge for you is this. I want you to make your own drum set. You can use the instruments that I've shown you throughout this video and drum on them with your Dixon Ticonderoga or any other type of pencil or pen that you can find laying around the house. You could even use chopsticks if you've recently had takeout, like my family has. Anyway, I will play this song for you, and you play along on your drum set. Go ahead and hit pause right now while you make your drum set. Make it awesome and play along. And I hope you have a lot of fun.
The Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil that tamed the wild frontier, that fought the bears and raging streams and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that has no fear. The Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil that tamed the wild frontier, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that tamed the wild and climbed the mountains high, Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil that tamed the wild frontier, that fought the bears and raging streams and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that has no fear.